I'm making sure that this girl is going to every restaurant in Disney World if it kills me.
This restaurant has been called Solid Italian Food, Americanized, and okay. We're gonna see how it really stands up by putting Tutto Italia to the test.
Let's give it a try. So let's talk Tutto Italia. If you've never been here, you're gonna find it specifically in Epcot in the Italy Pavilion. It is $2.
I thought you were gonna say it is Tutto Italia.
It's $2 on the Disney World website, which is not the priciest you're going to find, and it serves Italian-inspired food with an old world style ambiance. Shall we go inside?
I think we shall.
Come on.
Tutto Italia also actually has a walk-up option with Tutto Gusto Wine Cellar where you can order off of the menu and get wine. That is walk-up only, and you can access it by going through the host stand at Tutto Italia. But let's go in. Let's talk atmosphere at Tutto Italia. So this has a very classic Italian vibe. There is an outdoor patio you can sit on, although you probably only want to do this in the night or in cooler seasons because it does get toasty out there. They have a nice veranda, which is where we sat, which is inside, still has a lot of nice natural light. And the main dining room is a beautiful sweeping dining room with chandeliers and beautiful Italian style murals on the wall. How would you rate the atmosphere out of 10?
I'd say 6 or 7.
I would say 7 or 8.
Ooh,
So I think 7 is where we land.
Seven's fair.
Alright, our complimentary bread course has arrived. We got yeast rolls and these grissini torinese little bread sticks that come with some olive oil on the side. And we went ahead and grabbed a couple of cocktails. I went for the espresso martini, mostly because I panicked. Emma watched it happen. But this is the espresso martini. It's made with vanilla vodka, coffee liqueur, and Italian espresso for $18. And then Emma got the sangria, the Italian sangria with Cabernet Terre di Baccio, rum, and fruit juice for $16.
Bread with oil.
I have mics.
It's oily. It's airy, it's soft. It's not the best bread, even in Disney World, but as someone who's really ready to eat after a park day, I appreciate this. It's like nice and buttery, and then the oil adds just like a nice lightness to it. Kind of combined. It's just bread, but it's also free, so magic.
Tutto Italia.
Let's talk appetizers.
Please pardon our Italian accent.
I can't speak Italian. I won't keep doing it.
Buongiorno.
Grazie.
Bread, free bread.
Free bread. I was very hungry by the time we got here.
Yes.
It had very much been a long park day. And
Candyland, watch it on the channel.
Candyland, go check it out. But I liked it. I thought it was tasty. The bread itself was buttery. Olive oil was just olive oil. She had said it best. I wish there was some balsamic in it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was good bread. I've had worse bread and I've had better bread.
For sure. And free bread is free bread. That's what I always say. So if they're gonna give you bread for free, I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah.
I love that they had the more traditional breadsticks as well.
That was exciting.
And they were super, like, those were super crunchy, and I like could not stop eating them. But they weren't like filling like a yeast roll. So it was like a great little snacky start to the meal.
It was what you hope bread is.
Yep.
You want to enjoy the taste, but you don't want to fill up on it.
Exactly.
They were good.
Drinks wise, we both panic ordered. I got the espresso martini, and this was a tasty espresso martini. I do think all espresso martinis are kind of in the same world typically, like unless they're really bad. So this was a good espresso martini. It was not great, but if you like an espresso martini, it was tasty. I heard a lot of folks ordering it, and it's a nice pick-me-up as well.
I ended up going with the Italian sangria, also on a stress order, but it was really delicious. It was nice and fruity. I think you could tell that the red wine they used was a nicer red wine, so I really enjoyed it. Again, though, it's very similar to an espresso martini. It's all pretty much in the same vein.
Yeah.
It's hard to make a bad sangria, and I thought it was very tasty.
I don't particularly like sangria, and I liked her red sangria, and I liked hers, so that it was pretty good. Sorry, my eyes are gonna be like focused really far in the distance for a minute while you're talking because I'm looking at what I believe to be Remy the rat.
Oh yes, that is Remy because it is food and wine.
Food and wine.
And it's the Remy hide and seek.
Okay. There he is. You can see he's tiny, he's on that corner.
And he's just like floating.
Yeah. So this is the tortino di melanzane, baked eggplant parmigiana with pomodoro, mozzarella, and parmesan. We loved this thing.
We both kind of freaked out over it.
Yes, I
It
mean
was
really,
fantastic.
and I had, honestly, for this whole meal, I had lower expectations. I don't love Italian food. Nobody talks about Tutto Italia. They talk about Via Napoli. When they talk about Italian, they talk about Topolino's Terrace. They don't talk about Tutto Italia, so I had low expectations. And this immediately set my bar in a totally different league. It was so delicious.
We were scraping the plate
Yep.
clean with our bread. It was wonderful. I'm typically not an eggplant fan, but it was cooked so well. It was just soft enough that it really soaked up a lot of the tomato marinara.
Yeah, and there was
Just really
tons,
soaked up all the flavor.
tons and tons of cheese. So much cheese. Like literally a mountain of Parmesan on it. There were little mozzarella pieces on the edges. So delicious. I got a bite at one point that was like a little bit of eggplant, so much Parmesan, and it was so delicious. I also liked sharing this.
I liked sharing it too. It felt very easy to share. It also felt like the perfect amount for both of us to have just enough where we
Yeah.
felt satisfied, but not be full when
Yes.
our entrees came. I felt like
Totally agree.
I loved it.
I literally
loved
think
it.
that you and I will probably do that.
Yeah,
Like
it
it's
was-
like that. It was so good.
And our waiter also said that he likes to let it get cold and eat it the next day because it just soaks up all of the goodness.
He
And
said
I
it's
can
like
see
better
that.
left over cold.
Yeah.
And also a manager came to our table at one point and she said that it was her favorite as well. So we can definitely recommend the Totino di
Yeah.
Manzanelli.
There you go.
Very good.
As we've all learned today, not
Don't
much
speak
Italian.
Italian.
So I got how did
He said pesce.
pesce spada?
Yeah.
It was a grilled swordfish with crushed potatoes, Sicilian tomato pesto, and a piccata sauce. I actually was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. I'm not typically a swordfish fan. Total transparency. A lot of times we get stuff because it's really visually interesting and exciting.
Which this was.
And that's why we
was
chose
gorgeous.
this dish, because it was beautiful when they brought it out. And the swordfish was cooked really well. It was still pretty meaty. It was a little bit on the salty side for me, which adding capers on top, you know, of course is gonna make that saltier. And the thing that I loved was the Sicilian tomato pesto all around the edges. Dragging the swordfish through that, I just thought really lightened it up. It added a really nice brightness to it. And I thought the crushed potatoes were really interesting texturally. They weren't lumpy, but they also weren't perfectly smooth, and I thought it balanced really well with the meaty swordfish.
Yeah.
So I liked it a lot.
I had the gnocchi sorrentina, which was potato dumplings, roasted tomatoes, pomodoro sauce, and burrata cheese. This was really spectacular, perfectly gnocchi, an amazingly acidic, delicious tomato sauce. And then the best part was the burrata and the sun-dried tomatoes throughout it. Amazing dish altogether. Something I mentioned to Emma is I do think it was make it homeable if you bought all those ingredients. But sun-dried tomatoes, burrata, and gnocchi can be on the pricey side. And honestly, are you really gonna make a burrata gnocchi at home? Maybe no. So it was a really tasty dish. It was kind of like back to the basics, good. And it was a little bit more, like the entrees were in the $30 range and this one was on the lesser end of that.
Hers was $29, and I believe mine was $36.
Yeah, so this was definitely worth it. And I was like, I didn't even finish it. We have leftovers of it, so that's pretty great. Then dessert. Okay, so I got the tiramisu, which is a classic coffee-flavored Italian tiramisu. Theirs is created with ladyfingers dipped in coffee, layered with a whipped mixture of eggs, sugar, and mascarpone cheese, and topped with fresh cocoa powder. This was a great tiramisu.
It was, I really enjoyed
very
it.
creamy, very delicious, super soft texture.
So light.
Yes.
It was like a cloud almost.
And it had the most amazing thick cocoa powder layer that was so good and added a nice textural element and like smoky, cocoa-y flavor in your mouth. Such an amazing tiramisu. My one wish for it was I wish there was a little bit more ladyfingers in the tiramisu. Because it was so soft and so creamy that I wanted a little bit of that like soft cakey moistness that you get from the ladyfingers. And there was just like, it just didn't feel, it felt like it was overwhelmed by the cream. Still delicious, still amazing. I would still get again. But if I had to give it a no, that's what I would give it.
I also think though for $14 and how big that portion was.
Oh my gosh, we couldn't even finish it.
We couldn't
like,
even finish it.
We had like 2 bites left. It was delicious and we kind of shared both desserts.
I think for $14 it was very worth it.
Yeah, agreed.
And then I ended up getting the limoncello float, which was Sicilian limoncello over homemade limoncello gelato, and it said fresh strawberries. I thought they tasted like raspberries.
Yeah, and they didn't taste fresh. I thought they were like freeze dried,
It tasted
but it was in the
freeze-dried.
gelato, so it probably was frozen actually.
Yeah. This was interesting. The first bite I took of it was basically just a spoonful of limoncello.
Yep.
Which was delicious, but very strong, super acidic, packed a punch. We kind of like melted it into the gelato and really just like let the two become one.
Yeah.
And started sipping on it. And I enjoyed it. I would not get it again, just because that was not what I was looking for in a dessert. It to me just was limoncello.
Yeah, it tasted very alcoholic. It was very heady. Yeah, and the mesh of the flavors is much better. So definitely another win there, which means all of our courses were wins.
They were wins. That's huge.
Huge.
So of course it is that time to play a little magic or tragic. Magic if it's meant for you, tragic if it's not. This is going to be magic if you want a very nice but very chill meal. It's going to be a really great magic if you're looking for some delicious Italian food. Or it's going to be a magic if you're looking for an underrated Epcot spot. It's going to be a little bit tragic for some as well, as always. It's going to be tragic if you're looking to save a little bit of money. This one was not pricey compared to other table services, but it is significantly more than a quick service is going to be. It's also going to be a little tragic if you're looking for something more relaxed. Just like any table service around Disney World, if you're looking for something super, super relaxed, that's where quick service is going to be an option as well. And finally, it's going to be a tragic if you are looking for something to absolutely knock your socks off and be a super, super high quality, fancier meal.
In many ways, the work of a critic is easy. But tonight, on A Venture to Epcot, I found myself surprised, seeing things I never expected to see at Tutto Italia. The Italy Pavilion often finds itself lacking, in my opinion, but it really stars with the food, and Tutto Italia was no exception. With delicious bites, wonderful service, and a pleasant atmosphere, I'll be giving Tutto Italia 4 out of 5 stars. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe.
But Quincy, where are we going next?
I believe we're headed to Il Molino?
Italian it is.
It might be Planet Hollywood.
There are so many options, but we're gonna see you there.